The Top Fuel Racing League is on the air. Live from Pocono International Raceway, it's the Joint Chiefs Triangle of Terror 300. This broadcast would not be possible without our good friends over at PC Overlays. Paul Zoda providing some of the most beautiful overlays in all of iRacing. For more information on how you can get your own, we ask that you go to PC Overlays on their Facebook page, or you can find Paul Zoda on his Facebook page. And we cannot thank our good friends enough at pH Aware. Pulmonary hypertension is one of the most difficult to diagnose terminal illnesses on the entire planet due to the fact that it masks itself as so many other terminal illnesses. By the time doctors usually can put the pieces together, the only course of action left to take is a lung transplant. For more information on how you can get pH Aware, we ask that you go to phaware.global. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight. Live from Pocono, one of the biggest fields we've seen in a long time. Holy Christmas. As qualifying underway, we're going to take a quick look at the tracker and see who would be running where currently. And there it goes. The Canadian invader himself, Keith Mayato, currently sitting atop the leaderboard. And Chris Samard sitting second, Ernie Ludwig, Kevin O'Brien, the Thunder from Down Under. And in his last Top Fuel Racing start for a while, as he's getting ready to head off to college, the driver of the Ride to Give pH Aware Mighty number 55, Mr. Ronnie Osmer, currently sitting sixth quick, getting bumped by his teammate Joe Morganti. So, huge field of cars here tonight to take on this 2.5 mile just maniacal triangle in the Pocono Mountains. And I know I've said this before, the area of the Pocono Mountain region of Pennsylvania, one of the most beautiful and picturesque areas in the country, in my opinion, definitely in the Northeast. The people that I've met from that area, some of the most awesome people on the planet. This track and I have a hate relationship. It hates for me to run on it, and I hate to be at it. And that's all I'm really going to say on that. But you know, I'm impressed right now as Ronnie Osmer goes right to the top of the leaderboard. 41.59. Good grief. First one into the 41.5s tonight. As we're watching Captain Will Kirk crank one off right now. Coming into turn 3. And look for, normally when we come here, it's turn 4 that's Calamity Corner. I expect there to be some incidences in turn 4. My main point of concern is where Will is right now going into turn number 1. Especially if people are side by side. That second lane is going to be hang on to her, son, and hope you can keep her hung on to. As Will Kirk goes second quick currently. Damon Martinez of Raven Motorsports cranking one off right now. Nice paint job. Thank you, Sage, for putting that one on there. Longtime Yankees fan here. Speaking of Sage Karam, the hometown boy, out on track right now. Getting up to speed. As his teammate, there's Rick busting one off in the the Gould Charge 11. And believe me, I caught a rash of flack over what I referred to that car as in a previous race. And it was the team car that I thought he was running the team car, not this one. So, that's on me. As Sam Cooper Bennett, we got to talk about the elephant in the room right now. Sam Cooper Bennett has parted ways with Phenomenal Evolution Motorsports and is making his start tonight for Rated R Racing. And we're probably going to be talking to Sam at some point tonight. So, something to keep an eye on. As Rick Raven goes 7th quick. Damon Martinez currently sitting 13th. Mark Walker, good run for him, currently sitting 14th quick. Name we haven't seen in a while, Chris Voles, currently sitting 8th quick. Brad Truex out on track right now. Sorry, just starting his run. Scotty Brinson just starting one. So 24 cars have taken time, and I still have half a page of names that have not been on track yet. Still to come is Brad Truex, Bob Riley, Josh Lambert, Scotty Brinson, Michael Jeans. Nate Siefker just busted one off, going 11th quick on his outlap. Paul Crumry currently sitting 7th quick. Excellent run for Paul. Chris Walker still has to take time. Doug Kennedy still has to take time. So, while they're doing that and waiting to see what they can come up with, we are going to take this moment to ask that everyone please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as our good friend of both of broadcasting, Mr. Terry Adams, brings us tonight's national anthem. And thank you, Terry, for that. Arguably one of the best renditions of the national anthem I've heard in quite a long time. As qualifying has officially ended, cars starting to grid up. Let's take a look as Nate Siefker blisters one, goes 41.57 to set an unofficial track record, just inching out our defending season champion, Scotty Brinson, is going to join him on the front row. Row number 2 is going to see Ronnie Osmer in his last race. He's going to be joined with the local boy, Sage Karam, in row number 2. So 2 professional drivers, Ronnie from the ARCA Series, Sage from the IndyCar Series, starting in row number 2. Something to keep an eye on there. Row 3 is going to go to Captain Will Kirk out of Indiana and the Canadian Invader, Keith Mayato. Chris Simard and Carl Burke are going to make up row number 4. Row 5 is going to go to Paul Crumry and the Jersey Jet, Rick Raven. Chris Voiles, and making his debut at Rated R Racing, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett going to make up row number 6. Row 7 is going to see Ernie Ludwig and Kevin O'Brien. Joe Morganti and David Martinez make up row number 8. Row 9 is going to see Mark Walker and Chris Walker roll off. Row 10 is Jake Bryan and Josh Lambert. Row 11, Robert Dudley and Matt Burkhart. Colin Scott and Johnny Antonucci in row 12. Bob Riley and Kevin Cornelius in row number 13. Row 14 is going to see Tyler Vickery and Jake Champion. Row 15, Raul Alvarez and Michael Jeans. Ernie Ludwig and Doug Kennedy are going to roll off in row 16. And starting shotgun on the field, Brad Truax. So 33 cars in this one. That's a big field, kids. I don't care who you are. As I'm trying to find our pole sitter, where the hell did he go? Field's starting to roll off now as Nate Seifker are going to bring him around. So big field here tonight for the Joint Chiefs of Staff Fantasy Football League sponsored Triangle of Terror 300 from Pocono. A lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces. Going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Field working its way through the tunnel turn right now. And for those of you wondering why we call it the tunnel turn, there's a tunnel under that turn. It's how they get the haulers into and out of the infield of the track. And for those of you who've done short track racing, and there's a highway near your track, and you can kind of see it as you're sitting in the stand, and you see the cars going in the background. When you go to Pocono and you're standing on top of a hauler watching cars go around the track, it's kind of weird. You're like, oh, wow, there's a... Why is there a race car on the highway? Oh, wait, that's the track. As the pace car's in, Seifker pulls the trigger, and we are underway from Pocono. Scotty Brinson in second, already 3 wide into turn number 1. Ronnie Osmer gets the clear. Sage Karam tries to hang tough on the high side. Going to have to let him go. Osmer showing the way as he got by his teammate going into the tunnel turn. Nate going to play nice with his teammate this early in the going. Going to let him lead a lap. Karam to the inside. Brinson hanging on the high side as they're side by side into turn number 1. Karam can't get the pass done. Scotty Brinson hanging tough, showing why he is our defending champion. And dumpster fire. Who is it? Kevin O'Brien pointing the wrong way on a one-way street. Let's see what happened there. Wow. That was a big one. Bob Riley involved in that one. And there's our first scores coming in for Bob Riley's crash. 9.7, 9.7, 9.7, 6.5 from the Romanian judge. Let's go ahead and take another look and see what we could see there as Brad Truax getting it all wrong. And Sam Bennett involved in that one, it looked like. What happened to Sam? Sam 8, turn 3. So that caution being very timely for Cooper Bennett. Going to have to burn his fast repair early, though. Not the way he was looking to start tonight. So Truax bringing out the caution. Kevin O'Brien getting it wrong coming off of 1. Bob Riley getting some help. And Cooper Bennett getting real lucky there. Able to hopefully get back into his pit box. He's trying. So he's back out on track. Did not lose a lap. I did lose a lap. I'm sorry. I stand mistaken on that one. A couple cars towards the back of the field. Looks like Jake Champion and Johnny Antonucci bringing their pit side. Get some work done on those cars. Meanwhile, up at the front of the fields, Ronnie Osmer showing the way in his last Top Fuel Racing start for a while here. Scotty Brinson sitting in second, Sage Karam, Nate Siefker, Will Kirk, rounding out your top 5. And while we are under caution, we are going to step away for a quick word from the awesome folks at iRacing. And we're back from Pocono. Yeah. I've already informed Scotty that with 2-minute pace laps around here, it's going to be a rough one tonight if these kids don't calm them down. And I am not going to be a happy camper. So, we shall see, we shall see. Pocono is one of those few tracks that, under caution, you could make a pit stop, go to the bathroom, at least number 1. And for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, anyways, and still make it back without losing a lap. So, currently only a couple cars a lap down. Brad Truex has retired. Sam Cooper Bennett had problems getting back to his pit stall, had to tow it. So, he's probably the only driver around right now, only person around that's actually hoping we get another caution. Tyler Vickery takes her pit side to get a little splash of fuel. So, Osmer choosing the outside line on the restart. That's going to put Scotty Brinson to the inside. Sage Karam in third, Nate Seifker, Keith Mayato, Will Kirk, Chris Simard, Carl Burke, Chris Woles, and Paul Crumry rounding out your top 10. As we are currently working lap, where are we? 6 of 120. Yeah. So. Field working its way out of the tunnel turn into turn number 3. And as soon as that pace car twitches, look for Osmer to pull the trigger on that outside line. It's a relatively short time between the pace car moving off and the green flag coming out. Yeah, the pace car twitches. Osmer goes. Seifker with him as they're in the same team speak. And, oh, there it is. How are we not back under caution?
Yellow flag is out.
There it is. Keith Mayato getting caught up in that one. So let's see what the chopper picked up on that one. Oh boy, here it goes. Let's back that up just a little more. So Osmer's going to have control of the field in the blue car. Seifker's going with him. And let's take a look at a full-on chase cam and see what happened there. What the hell? So let's watch it from Seifker's point of view. See, it's hard to tell what really is going on there, folks. It looks like Scott came up a little bit, Nate came down a little bit. They had a meeting of the minds in the middle. So we are back under caution. And Sam Cooper Bennett gets his lap back. So, 9 laps in, we're under caution number 2. So now that the field has caught the pace car, our good friend Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett should be getting his lap back. Interesting new scheme tonight for Sam. As we are going to reach out to the newest driver of Rated R Racing, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Now, Sam, Tony up in the booth. You got me, sir.
Yes, I do.
So, new team, new track, and I believe you should be getting the lucky dog, if I'm not mistaken.
No, somehow I hit somebody during that whole melee, and my car's damaged again, so I gotta fix it up again.
Well then.
Yeah.
So, did you catch any of what happened?
Apparently it started with Scott Brinson getting into Nate Siefka, and then
all hell broke loose behind him.
Yeah, and there was cars spinning everywhere, and I thought I got around it, and then I got a 4X, and my wheel was cocked to the left, and yeah, I already burned my fast repair after Ernie Ludwig got into me at the start of the race, and yeah, I'm treading on very thin ice right now.
Well, we'll let you get back to it, Sam. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Tony.
So troubles continue for Sam. New team. Still one of the unluckiest kids in the class, though. So while we're still under caution, we are also going to reach out to, if I can find the little bastard. Come out, wherever you are. We are going to reach out to a man making his last Top Fuel Racing start for a while here, currently leading this piece, Mr. Ronnie Osmer. Ronnie, you got me, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, kind of mixed feelings about tonight's event, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm happy to be up front right now, but it sucks to be the last one. I'm just hoping I leave with the checker flag.
Well, still plenty of time to get that one done, but if I'm not mistaken, you leave tomorrow to head your way to North Carolina? Is that where you're...
Yeah. I leave tomorrow morning for an 11-hour drive up to Charlotte, North Carolina to go to Belmont Abbey College.
Well, Ronnie, best of luck to you in the event tonight. Again, we hate to see you go. Best of luck to you in college, and hopefully you'll be able to join us in the booth for a couple events if the network at the college will allow it.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, good luck, Ronnie.
Thank you.
So, North Carolina going to have another hot shoe in the mix in the greater Charlotte Metroplex. Belmont Abbey College for a motorsports marketing degree, if I'm not mistaken. That's what he's going for. So, good kid. And I say kid, he just turned 18. Oh, to be that young and full of energy again. Anyways, two young gunners on the front row, Sage Karam, Ronnie Osmer. Osmer going to have the button as they go back to green. Captain Will Kirk and Carl Burke. Sam, we get to say it again tonight, Burke and Kirk, sitting in row number 2. So... field working its way through the turn 3 complex. I'll look for Osmer to wait a little bit this time. Doesn't have any help behind him for drafting. Doesn't want to get too far out in front, or they'll just eat him up into the short chute between 1 and 2.
Green, green, green.
And Sage Karam wasting no time dropping behind as Kirk and Burke go side by side. And here comes Raven. Almost making it 3 wide. Little bit squirrely for the captain right there. A lot of jockeying going on as they do the Indy Snake in between 1 and 2. Osmer still with the lead. Karam sitting in second. Will Kirk has Rick Raven all over his transmission tunnel right now. And here comes Ernie Ludwig in the player special. As power move by the Jersey Jet, Rick Raven, up into third. You get such a tow down the front straightaway here, the whole Long Pond straightaway thing. I remember seeing articles as a kid where they used to drag race on the front stretch here. And a lot of times, in a lot of events that we've seen, it's been a drag race. Osmer and Karam start to stretch it out just a tick. Raven trying to hang with him. It's Ernie Ludwig working on Paul Crumry right now. Crumry, sorry, Paul. And I do need to thank Paul for going with a different paint scheme tonight. Less confusing to have that number on that paint scheme than it has been on some of the previous schemes we've seen Paul in. Throw back to the old Newman Haas days. It's Morganti in traffic right now. He's working on Damon Martinez directly in front of him. Those guys are definitely flirting with disaster coming through turn 1. Take a look a little further back. There's your defending champion, Mr. Scott Brinson, mired in traffic right now, currently running 24th, make that, as he goes to the inside of Colin Scott. Field's starting to get strung out a little bit here. Burkhart and Morganti go side by side through the tunnel turn. That's Jake Bryan and Burkhart slugging it out right now. And they're doing the Indy Snake again. Awesome. As Morganti and Burkhart almost get into it through the tunnel turn. As Samard makes it 3 wide for a second, gets the position. I'm sorry, that's Michael Jeans in the orange car. So that was a power move there. as we are working lap 18 of 120. The Joint Chiefs Triangle of Terror 300 for Pocono. Jeans and Siefker already flirting with the top 10. Already burned his fast repair, so he's got to be a little on the careful side. As he's working on the back of Samard right now. Getting hooked up with his teammate Joe Morganti there, directly in front of him now. So look for the two of them to start their march towards the front. Michael Jeans flirting with the safer barrier coming off at 3. There's Jake Ryan falling like a stone. He got a little wrong going into 3. Lost a ton of speed. Keith Mayato on the march, too. You saw him almost get involved in that little melee to bring out the second caution. As we're 3 wide into the tunnel turn. Good grief, kids. Josh Lambert showing no fear there. Robert Dudley losing the draft down the Long Pond straightaway. He's going to fall back a position or two. Meanwhile, up towards the front, Rick Raven has gotten by his teammate, Sage Karam. Raven going to see if he's got anything for Osmer right now. As we have got to be closing in on green flag stop time. As they're currently working lap 22 of 120. Osmer a half second to the good. Raven a half second to the good over his teammate in third. Sage Karam almost a half second to the good over Will Kirk, who is a half second to the good over Carl Burke. And then you're a second and a quarter from Burke to Paul Crumrye. So the field's starting to get strung out a little bit as all the goodie is now worn off the tires. And this is where you really see who can drive and who's just a steering wheel holder. Jake Champion working the outside of Keith Mayato right now. Mayato getting a little sideways coming through the tunnel turn. Not something you want to do at 210 miles an hour. And as I look back, Josh Lambert has some wing damage. That's got to be affecting him. As I'm looking, and he's down on speed by about 5 miles an hour over Mayato. Jake Ryan currently slugging it out with Robert Dudley right now. And Siefker has cracked the top 10. So Siefker is really on charge right now. Scotty Brinson is up to 18. As he's working with Mark Walker right now. Walker to the inside as they haul off into the tunnel turn. Watch for Brinson to work the draft. Just biding his time right now. Has already burned his fast repair from that early melee. So look for him to just kind of bide his time and try to maintain a safe race currently. It's Ryan and Dudley still fighting it out. That's your battle for 16th currently. And the closest battle on the track. Oh, there it goes.
Yellow flag is out.
Yeah. Let's take a look at what happened there. So keep your eyes on the yellow and blue. Jake Ryan hauls it off into turn number 2. And looks like, yeah, caught the apron. Not something you want to do, especially going through that tunnel turn at 210 miles an hour. That's a rough one. So we're back live. And we are about to step away for this wonderful word from the awesome folks at iRacing. And we're back as the vast majority of the field went down pit road. Ernie Ludwig staying out, Kevin O'Brien staying out, Johnny Antonucci staying out. So Ludwig flirting with disaster there. And he's going to have a lot of pissed off drivers behind him. And the reason I say that is when you take a look at the two cars behind him, that's yeah, it is. Where the hell am I? Sam Cooper Bennett's one of them. It looks like it's Kevin O'Brien there. Okay, so oh, come on, not again. All right, so Cooper Bennett going to stay out to get the wave around. And then hope for a quick one, and hopefully he's not it. As Michael Jeans was the one who got the lucky dog there. And Sam had to do it. New team, new attitude. Growing up, Sam's mom told me he could become anything he wanted, so he became a pace car. So, unfortunately, the roof pace car is a little bit shorter than that IR-18 you're in, Sam, so we can still see you. Anyways, currently working caution number 3 as Jake Bryan kind of got it all wrong coming through the tunnel turn, just caught the apron and around she went. Which was right about on schedule where we were figuring we were going to see green flag stops start to happen as we're working lap 29, currently lap 29 of 120. So, looks like we may possibly be at 2 to go currently. Lights getting ready to go out on the pace car. There goes the lights, and there goes Cooper Bennett on the wave around. Finally back on the lead lap. For how long? Let's see who's going to be the next person to step on their own junk tonight. So, as we get ready to go back to green, Osmer, Karam, Raven, Kirk, Siefker, up into the top 5. So, good charge for Nate so far. After that early oops with Scott Brinson. Paul Crumry, Chris Voiles, Damon Martinez, Jake Champion, Chris Samard rounding out your top 10. So at the 1/4 mark when we hit the green again, Osmer going to have the button. Has so far led all but 2 laps, and that was because a couple guys stayed out. Field works its way through turn 3. It just dawned on me, I forgot to say this earlier, as they get ready to turn them back loose. Grandpa, Papa Viagra, it's time to get it on at Pocono.
Green flag, green flag.
Osmer wasting no time getting it up to speeds. Karam going to try to draft with him. As Raven working on Kirk going through 1. Looks like they may have touched. They do the Indy Snake, and that's Karam to the inside. Going to have position going into the tunnel turn. Osmer going to drop in behind him, cross him over. Osmer using that second lane to keep that car in clean air. Going to have the pull down the Long Pond straightaway to the inside. Drag race into turn 1. Side by side they go. Give the advantage to Osmer. Karam going to use it to draft down the short chute. Karam to the inside again. Raven to the inside. Karam drops down to pick up his teammate. Siefker all over Will Kirk. Raven up into second. Here comes Osmer down the short chute. Going to have position going into the tunnel turn. Osmer protecting that inside line. Finally drifts up to get the arc into the corner. Damon Martinez making some moves right now in 6th.
Yellow flag is out.
And there we go. Looks like Michael Jeans, possibly. Oh, what happened there? Keep your eye on the orange car, folks. Gets the Spanish Archer going through turn 2. And Jake Bryant just throws the elbow, for those of you who don't get that joke. Bryant just did not turn. And Michael Jeans, unfortunately, nowhere to go. And that's going to end his race as he puts it behind the wall. All right. So 7 laps in. And I'll tell you the one who was definitely looking forward to that one. My broadcast partner, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, desperately in need of that one. If you're just joining us, this is the Joint Chiefs Triangle of Terror 300 from the Tricky Triangle in Pocono, Pennsylvania. If you like the action that you're seeing on track, don't forget to wait till after the live broadcast is over. Drop a comment below with your iRacing screen name. We'll get it passed along to the league admins and see if we can get you added into some future action. Top Fuel Racing runs the IR18 on Wednesday nights and the Pro Mazda in the Summer Light Series. A couple races left in that one. That happens on Sunday nights. So something to keep an eye on. And for those of you keeping score at home, we are currently on caution number 4. And trust me, you don't want to get to caution number 10. Because nobody will be happy at that point. Oh, who do we want to talk to? As the field working its way around, I'm just trying to find who I want to reach out to, who we haven't talked to yet. That's let's reach out to the cat who's already brought his up into the top 5. Reaching out now to the current 4th place, Mr. Nate Siefker. Nate, hell of a rebound you've had so far after that early little oops that took place on the first restart.
Yeah, I just want to thank Tony Hawk for my great grinding skills. You know, he taught me a lot about grinding there, so really put that to work on that wall. So
yeah, that was a 650-50 you had going on there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, I mean, it's been a good race so far. I mean, we were able to get through the field. I think we restarted that restart in 23rd and made our way up to 10th by the time the caution came out. So the car feels good. The setup feels good. Just a matter of, you know, finding places to pass people and trying to get around them.
Well, you're going to be restarting this one right behind your teammate, Ronnie Osmer. It's safe to assume the two of you are going to work together to try to put some moves on those two cats from Ravon Motorsports that are going to be starting inside of you?
Yeah, we've been working together. I mean, he led the first lap purely because that was his parting gift from me, was to just let him have the lap. And then I was like, and then I fell back and I was like, I kind of regretted that. So I kind of need to lead a lap now. I mean, the man doesn't need him when he leaves. I kind of do. So, but yeah, I think, you know, it'd be cool to see Ronnie have a great run tonight. So we're going to do everything we can to probably do that. If it comes 1-2 and I'm feeling really generous, so we might pull a 55-2 situation and let him win it.
Fair enough. So, real quick, when you guys took the tires off at lap 27, how whooped were they?
Let me look right now. They're not. I mean, I've seen way worse here, but I mean, it's still considerable tire wear. But I mean, it's nothing to really worry about. I mean, from coming through the field, it's about what I expect it to be at. So, give me about 2 more tire runs. Probably properly be able to figure out where the tire wear is at, and then I'll be able to really understand. But it really isn't that bad.
Fair enough, Nate. Best of luck to you, and hopefully we're talking to you in about
however many laps it is, I don't even know.
80.
80? Okay. All right, thank you.
So Nate Siefker joining us there as the lights go out on the pace car. So in all Raven Motorsports inside and in all Phenomenal Evolution outside. Going to be interesting to see what happens here. Keep your eye on Damon Martinez, though, in restarting in 6th. Now there's Damon. He's going to be restarting basically behind Nate. And he is in the same team speak as Rick and Sage. So definitely going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Can't fault the kid too much. He does have good taste in baseball teams.
Green flag, green
And
flag.
I'm not live. All right. How about that? As the green flag does come out, and we're back live now. As Ravon and Karam get a great start. Ronnie Osmer trying to figure out a way to get around him. Goes to the inside of Ravon as they go through the short chute. Oh, who just changed the color of their fire suit?
Yellow flag is out.
Josh Lambert. That started with Kevin Cornelius, though. Got it all wrong on cold tires. Josh Lambert nowhere to go. Eats the safer barrier. And that is probably that's going to be the poster for why you don't need a safer barrier that close to the racing surface here at Pocono. And we're going to watch that again. Watch Lambert. Had that safer barrier not been there, he could have dipped 2 into the grass and saved it. So, thank you, NASCAR. You effed up a perfectly good track. Meanwhile, we are back under caution. And for those of you who are good at high-powered gazintas, working lap 40 on caution number 5. And for those of you keeping score, we are now halfway through the broadcast. So, a Sage Karam, Ronnie Osborne. Let's take a quick look at the top 10. Who was that? That was Chris Walker getting a lap back. Chris was 2 laps down. So your current top 10, Sage Karam, Ronnie Osborne, Rick Raven, Nick Seifker, Captain Will Kirk, Chris Simard, Damon Martinez, Keith Mayato, Jake Champion, and Chris Voiles. Quick check of the weather. Relatively cool conditions here. 75-degree ambient air temperature. Track only at 86 degrees, mostly cloudy. So relatively cool weather here at Pocono. Not what you're going to see on Sunday when the real-life IndyCar Series takes to the Tricky Triangle. A quick check of the weather there. You're looking roughly what the track temperature is going to be is what the air temperature is going to be. So good luck, boys. So gonna reach out to Mr. Sage Karam at his hometown race. Sage, Tony up in the booth. You got me, sir.
Yep.
So talk us through how you're feeling right now with being your home track, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely cool racing at Pocono. It's a really, really tough race, that's for sure. You know, the first stint I kind of just chilled back, tried to save fuel. And now I think with how many yellows and stuff there's happening, you know, how long these yellow flag periods are, I think you're pretty much just going to go flat out and, you know, 1 or 2 more pit stops hopefully. And then, yeah, I mean, on the restarts here as the leader, I'm kind of a sitting duck, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out which way to go and try and stop Ronnie's run, help out Rick as best as I can. But, you know, Ronnie's been tough all day, so it's going to be tough to beat him and Nate and Rick even. You know, I think these guys are all pretty stout right now, and you know, Damon's sitting back there in 7th, so, you know, he's been making his way forward too. So I think you're going to have a good race, good ending to this thing. I'm just worried that, you know, gloves are going to come off a little sooner than everybody liked, and, you know, I just hope it doesn't get ugly up front here.
Well, is it safe to assume that you guys in Raven Motorsports have the same team orders that they have on Phenomenal Evolution, that it's try not to wreck each other, but if you do wreck each other, make sure it's a Sports Center highlight?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you make sure you hit me hard enough and you put me over the catch fence or something, because I'm probably not gonna stay for the remainder of that race. But
Something to
so
be mindful of in the IndyCar, if you catch the seam between the safer barrier and the concrete coming off of 3, there is a glitch which will bank you off the
it
scoring.
launches you.
It'll launch you off the scoring tower, and you'll end up in row K of the parking lot in turn 1. So something to be mindful of there.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think it's gonna be a good race. Me and Rick, I was running second there early on, and we were all just saving fuel behind Ronnie, and then Rick said I want to go get him, so I let Rick go on by, and then he lost his fronts and couldn't really do anything with him. And then when I was in third, I was really struggling with my front end, so I don't want to fall back any worse than second. So I'll do my best here on the restart. But like I said, the leader's kind of a sit and duck, so I'm hoping when we go back to green by the end of the first lap, I can still stay inside the top 3, and I should be all right then.
All right, well, lights are out on the pace car. We'll let you get back to it. Best of luck to you, Sage.
Yeah, thanks.
So there you heard it. Traffic not a friend to the setup tonight. You're going to have to really time your runs just about perfect, and it's going to be tough once you get all the goodie worn off the tires. It's going to be tough to really do anything. So working lap 43 of 120, they're going to take the green on lap 44. Sage Karam in control of the field. Ronnie Osmer currently sitting in second. Look for that inside line to work with each other. Karam and Raven both in the same team speak. Osmer and Siefker in their own team speak. So let's see what happens.
Green, green, green.
And Raven gets a hell of a jump. Working with his teammate, goes to the inside. And Osmer going to get it wound up on the high side. Going to get a run off of 2. And around goes Siefker. I can't find him. Where the hell did he go? Come on. What in the hell happened there? Keep your eye on the gold car, folks. Just caught the apron, and oh, Keith Mayato getting a race car to the face. And scrambling behind him. A lot of good cars caught up in that one. Oh, no. Kevin Cornelius back in the pits. Wow. Let's take a look at cockpit view from Keith Mayato. Here they are going into 1. Keith working to the high side, and boom, race car to the face. Thank God this is a simulator. Crumry involved. O'Brien catching a piece of that one. Will Kirk catching a piece of that one. And scores are in for Siefker's flip. 9.8, 9.8, 9.9, and a 10 from the Romanian judge. Good work, Nate. But yeah, that's gonna do it for Nate's race here tonight. And wow, a lot of good cars on pit road right now. That was a rough one. But Paul Crumry getting involved in that one. Keith Mayato. Ronnie Osmer catching a piece of that one? Looks like Ronnie caught a piece of that one too. Let's go back and take a look at what happened there. Oh, Ronnie involved in his own separate incident. Bangs the wall, and luckily nobody killed him. I'm going to have to burn his fast repair. So, that was a rough one. So, looks like joining us in the booth now, Mr. Nate Siefker. Nate, wow.
Yeah, not the best moment of my career. I'll say that.
It was spectacular, though, and I would like to point out that your scores on that flip were 9.8, 9.8, 9.9, and the Romanian judge actually gave you a 10.
Oh, beautiful. I'm really glad that he loved my effort there.
So, yeah, that was what happened. Let's go through there. It looked like you may have caught the apron.
Yeah, I caught the apron, and I that was probably the highest I've gotten that loose. So I'm looking at the replay now, and I just barely was on the line when it kicked me out. So it's unfortunate that had to happen. Took out a lot of people, and to everybody that happened to get caught up in that, my apologies if you're watching the broadcast. But yeah, I mean, it was just a total my fault. Can't blame nobody else. 100% on me.
Well, at least you're cowboying up and saying, "Hey, my bad." But for what it's worth, Nate, you had a hell of a run going.
Yeah,
Hate
I mean,
hate
it
to
wasn't
see
a
it.
bad run.
Hate to really see it end that way, but
Especially so early. That was one of the other things too, is how early I'm done tonight.
well, you're welcome to join me in the booth for the rest of the broadcast.
Absolutely.
So, currently, still not at the halfway point, but we are officially halfway through the broadcast. I told Scott I'm giving him 12 tonight.
Well, I think you'll make it then.
We have officially just made it halfway through the broadcast. And for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, you've not played the drinking game with us. As the lights go out on the pace car, Raven, Karam, Kirk, Bryant, Ludwig, Lambert, Vickery, Simard, Martinez, and Dudley rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, these two Rayvon Motorsports guys tonight, they've been probably the two guys to look out for. They've been, they've had the good car all night long, and they've been working together pretty strong. So those two, probably something's going to have to happen to one of them in order for their mojo to be thrown off tonight.
Well, you got to figure it's Sage's home track, and it might just as well be Rick's home track because he's only from New Jersey, just right up, Route 80 a little bit. So,
yeah, so these guys want to run good, and
yeah,
it's
the home track. The family's in the crowd. Hi, Mom. Anyways, the field working its way coming out of the tunnel turn. So look for Sage to drop down directly behind Rick as quickly as he can.
Yeah, they've been mixing up their restarts here, so this could be, they could either go quickly or they could go really long. It looks like right here he's laying back really far here, Rick is, so.
Oh, Rick has a tendency to do that. He kind of doesn't stay on the pace car like a lot of people do.
Gonna be interesting to see what Sage does here, if he's gonna just stay behind and be the rear gunner for Rick here, if he's actually gonna try to pass him here.
Well, we heard Sage say earlier that you're kind of a sitting duck, and there it goes again.
Yellow flag is out.
Got a yellow car flipping in the background is all I saw.
That's 7. Chris Voiles catching more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games. Catching the apron.
He pulled the Nate Siefker.
And hit it. That's Chris Voiles. And we almost had a breakdancer. Almost had the first IR-18 that I've seen breakdance. Almost. Luckily, the catch fence caused that to not happen.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed I haven't seen a catch breaking dance. Well, if I can do English, dance breaking IR-18. Haven't seen one yet. Kind of disappointed I haven't.
Give it time. We haven't had one in Crash Car yet.
Ah, true.
So, pace car picks up Raven going into turn 1. So, we are going to step away real quick for this word from the awesome folks at iRacing. We're back with you shortly, folks. And we're back from Pocono. Lights just going out on the pace car. No, they're not. Ah, crap.
Nope. Not quite.
Getting my hopes up. See how you are, Nate?
Well, I thought it was.
I would have hoped it was, or 2 minutes of pacing per lap.
Gotta love eye-pacing.
I would rather watch my grandmother's hair grow on her arm.
Well, we can talk about some cool paint schemes.
There are some really cool paint schemes here tonight. I'm kind of partial myself to Jake Bryan's car, only because they pay my bills.
Personally, I think the car that looks pretty nice is Ernie Ludwig's car.
The throwback players paint scheme, yes.
Totally.
You gotta respect that car. Where was the other one that I saw that I really liked? Let me. Am I seeing Tyler Vickery's paint scheme properly? Is that the paint scheme I think it is on the 24?
I think he told me it was a Fernando Alonso paint scheme, but on my screen it's black. So
Okay, then that is the paint scheme that I think it is. Yeah, it is a Fernando Alonso. And it got kind of confusing earlier in the race because Michael Jean's running the same paint scheme.
yeah, absolutely. Another one I'm looking coming through the field is Keith Mayata's paint scheme, an orange Red Bull paint scheme he has.
Keith Mayato?
Yeah,
He's rocking Repsol.
Repsol. It's got Red Bull.
Repsol Honda.
See, that KTM I consider the Red Bull, not Repsol.
Anyways, lights finally out on the pace car.
It's
And
gonna be interesting to see who can mess with these top two guys up here, though.
Josh Lambert's making me hungry.
Yeah, he's making me a little hungry too.
Worst subs on the planet. So, anywho, we are getting ready to go back to green.
Hopefully we get a nice green flag run in here.
And considering that Nate decided to just jinx us, you can get your hate mail coming, folks.
No. Every time I said that in the race, we did have a nice green flag run, so.
You realize we're averaging 8 laps and a caution, right?
You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith.
No, I don't. George Michael's dead, bud.
But Rick's leading them to the field this time. It's going to be interesting to see changes it up or not.
Well, he's still hanging back off that pace car, getting ready to pull the trigger, and
He's holding.
wow,
He
really
held.
did hold him back. Gave Sage Karam basically just gave Sage Karam full gratis to just pull the trigger, because once that green flag's out, all bets are off.
Yeah, but are you allowed to pass the leader, though?
You are. A green flag's out, and you can pass whoever on the outside. Once that green flag comes out, you can
What a move here by Kirk.
you can beat the leader to the green.
So we have another yellow.
Nope.
Oh, why is it so? Oh, it's just yellow on my end then.
I'm
My
not.
keyboard turned yellow because I have too much damage. That's what it was.
Oh, you have one of them
False
fancy.
alarm.
You have one of them fancy dancy computers,
have
don't
a
you?
fancy dancy key. I have a fancy dancy keyboard. Look at him go 3 wide for the lead.
Oh, this could only end poorly. Sage Karam with just bombs it into turn 1.
I mean, let's see if Kirk makes a move here. He does. Threads the needle there, right in front of Rick Raven.
Will Kirk to the point.
Little great battle here going on for fourth as well. Who's out? Karam got penalized. Karam got penalized.
Really?
Yeah, so he did get a penalty for
Wow.
That's going to put him towards the back. He's not going to get a lap, but he did get a penalty for that.
It's just a stop and go. But that's rough. And
It looks like he's going to go ahead and take a pit stop here.
well, he kind of has to. You actually have to come to a stop in your stall. Yeah, he did. He took forward fuel.
So he should get out in front of this whole pack here, but look at the snake we got going on here. Wow.
Jeepers. Raven and Kirk are going to kill each other if they keep that up.
Yeah, you can't do that very long and expect... oh, wow. Man, he's all the way down. Yeah, you can't do that forever, that's for sure.
All you're doing is just burning what little goodie you have left on your tires off them when you're doing that. Well, I'm breaking the draft of the guy behind me. No, you're just breaking your own momentum. Keep that wheel straight as you can, and you're going to go as fast as you can.
Yeah, Kirk's not that far behind, isn't right behind him, so I don't know what the purpose of Rayvon doing that is, but I mean, he's entitled to do however he wants it to, so.
I just broadcast the races, sir. You'll have to discuss that with league management. Meanwhile, Chris Samard has reeled these guys in.
Yeah, Curtis is pretty strong all night. I mean, he started 7th, you know, so he found his way in the back at one point, I know that. So he's done a good job to get back up here as well.
Well, Chris was caught up in that little melee you were caught up in.
Ah, okay.
So. It looks like we might be getting ready to see some green flag stops happen.
Yeah, not a whole lot of takers on a whole lot of those pit stops, so.
Well, the thing is, Raven's been out there 31 laps. So has Kirk. And everybody else has been out there north of 20.
Krumrai is really slow off the pace here. He's going to get lapped here by these guys here. Krumrai is really slow off the pace here. He's not probably going to affect these guys here.
Well, he just got that car fixed. And he moves to the inside to get the hell out of the way. Got to respect him for that one. He's not that far off on speed. I think he's off on trust on his car.
Yeah, I'd say so. The way that he's driving that car, it looks like that, exactly.
And I can't say I blame him because he took a hell of a shot. Matter of fact, he took a hell of a shot during that second melee you were involved in. So.
Looks like Kirk's just hanging right with Raven.
Oh, that almost ended poorly. That just lets Josh Lambert up into 4th. Jake Bryant just didn't know what to do with Paul Krumrai. And, you know, Krumrai's trying to stay out of the way, so I got to give him respect for that. You know, it's just these guys are not sure how to really race around him.
It looks like Krumrai's up to speed now. He's got that trust back in the car, so it looks like he's fine to be around these guys. So he's up to speed and everything, but I mean, yeah, the problem is how do you properly dispatch of lap cars, especially when they're up to speed like this.
Yeah, and Paul Krumrai, when he did get taken out earlier, was running 5th. So, you know, he's no slouch. Don't get that one twisted, folks. Paul Krumrai is definitely no slouch in this car. And somebody who is finally back up to speed after... Not again.
What a save by Ronnie.
Now, I don't know if you caught it or not, but when you brought that one caution out and took out half the field, Ronnie stepped on his own junk coming off of one as well and spun and hit the wall further up the track.
Yeah, so far hasn't been the ideal going away party for him, but hopefully he can continue to come through the field here.
Meanwhile, Rick Raven is starting to gap Will Kirk. 0.6 to the good over the driver of the Gould Charge, number 11.
Yeah, but the draft is about effective from about a second on back here. So Kirk's still getting the draft off of Ravon, even though that gap is pretty large on the screen.
And the question is, how much longer can Ravon stay out? And he's 30, according to the tattletale I've got, he's 35 laps on this current fuel stint. Now, yes, a lot of those were under caution, as we are just past the halfway point.
I'll tell you who doesn't want to see a caution. That's his teammate right now, because if he gets a caution and everyone pits, he's going to be stuck back there. He wants this to cycle through, Sage does. And Ravon does want to see a caution so he can keep the lead.
Hey, is what it is.
Exactly.
So as we run, there's currently 23 cars still in this one. Joe Morganti has retired. Bob Riley has retired. Kevin O'Brien has retired. You yourself are up in the booth with me. Kevin Cornelius is out. Sam Cooper Bennett is out spotting for the rest of Rated R Motorsports. Michael Jeans has retired. Matt Burkhart has put it behind the wall. Raul Alvarez has put it behind the wall. And Brad Truax brought out the first caution and then immediately just put it on the hauler. So currently working lap 35. You are watching the Joint Chiefs Triangle of Terror 300 from Pocono. And Nate, if I could have you take a quick look for me as to what's going on in the chats.
Yeah, just give me just a couple of, about a minute here. Looks like Morganti's reason for retiring tonight was because of a headset issue, it seems like.
He's had some problems with that headset recently, and I think it's time for him to get a new one. I love my Turtle Bay, but that's just me.
So that's the reason for Mr. Morganti's retirement tonight.
As we're watching Scott Brinson, Jake Champion, and Mark Walker slug it out right now. There's your defending champion, Scott Brinson, currently running in 10th, running the throwback Fuzzies paint scheme. Scott's been known to bust that one out on occasion. Finally got it on the IR-18. As he makes a move on Jake Bryant running the Rossi paint scheme.
And that top lane, it's something about that top lane is just really good. It seems like the bottom lane, just nobody has the confidence to keep it down there, which is letting people just power by on the outside. So that's why we've seen a couple of outside passes tonight, which is purely because I think a lot of people just don't feel comfortable with that apron there.
Well, the other thing, too, is you can keep it wound up in that second lane. You kind of have to pinch it down to get a run through turn one. You kind of have to pinch it off, and you lose a little bit of speed doing it that way. And Raven takes a pit side. That hands the lead of the race over to Chris Simard.
And I was just about to say that Ravon was putting out a pretty good gap. He had about a 2-second gap over Simard. Now Simard's got that about that much of a gap back to Lambert now. So looks like 2 seconds is the norm right now for leaders going back to second.
Well, now here's the catch. His teammate just flashed by, so he's not going to have help from Sage Karam like he was probably hoping for.
Yeah, but I mean, you see Sage now. That just shows that he's got a little bit extra track position on the track if we do cycle through here. So Sage, if we cycle through, is your net leader at the moment, but everyone's got to cycle through here, including people who pitted under that last caution.
Right. As he's working on the 70, that's Ernie Williams, who is 2 laps down. And I believe that's Colin Scott. No, it's not. So
Chris Voiles.
Chris Voiles in the 28 in there as well. So Sage working with a couple of lap cars right now. Samard, meanwhile, a 2.5 seconds to the good over Josh Lambert. Good grief.
Yeah, we're getting a nice stretch in here as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the race here. 40 laps here under green does fly by, so we get a nice, continue this run. I mean, pretty quickly we're going to be talking about the end of the race.
And that's Nate Siefker, everybody. Care of Hollywood, Florida, P.O. Box OU812.
Hey, you said that we were going to have a caution right away. We've had a nice green flag run here, haven't we?
Yeah, I don't have to commit Harry Carey.
Looks like Mayato's trying to make some moves here on Lambert here for the second position, with a little bit of crumb ride draft here helping out Lambert.
Well, that's the thing, is crumb ride's finally back up to speed. And, you know, these guys are able to really use him for, you know, a draft and to save fuel, really.
Yeah, we're getting to that kind of the point of the race where you're kind of thinking, where is the fuel window at? And, you know, how far can you stretch it? So, you got some people probably thinking already, wow, this is, ooh, wow. Big Brian coming out of pits, I think.
Yeah. As he's trying to get up to speed, now a lap down.
After his restroom break, Ronnie Osborne's back in the top 5.
And there he is right behind Mayado. You see him within striking distance. And he's got longtime friend Tyler Vickery right behind him. So look for the two of them to start working together.
Like Robert Dudley's having a good night so far. He's running the 6th position, so good night for Robert there.
So Robert, you can get your hate mail going. That's Nate Siefker, Hollywood, Florida, P.O. Box OU812. Or just drive to his house and throat punch him. Whatever you want to do.
Whichever one works, I'll be here with whatever kind of beer you like.
As Osmer going pit side. And Brinson back into the top 10 as well. Currently running 6th. Side by side with Mark Walker.
Yeah, none of these guys can make it, so that's something I also think about, is that you got one more spot for stop for everybody who's pitting here. Unless we have a ton of cautions. That's the only way everybody can make it, is if we have cautions basically from now to the end of the race. Is the only way some of these guys can make it.
And let's hope that doesn't happen, because our fans will never see the end of the race.
Yeah.
Like I said, I told Scott when he said we were going to Pocono, I said, I'm giving you 12. I'm not sitting through 17 again. Although that's not the record for Bofa Broadcasting. We have been in a 23 caution race here at Pocono.
Yeah, that's not that bad now, is it?
After caution 10, I wanted to slit my wrists.
Oh no, we got one on the wall.
And there it goes.
Yellow flag is out.
Mark Walker pounded the outside wall there. He is now breakdancing.
No, he's not.
No, well, not quite. Looked like he might be there for a second.
A little bit of the Spanish Archer there from Robert Dudley. Coming through the tri-oval. You see Dudley on the inside. There's Walker on the high side. And a little bit of arrow push, and Walker gets the old elbow from Robert Dudley.
I'll tell you who that worked out for. That worked out for Ronnie there. He came out, just pitted, and he's going to be around 4th or 5th position there.
So scores are in from the judges. 3.4, 3.4, 3.4, and 1.2 from the Romanian judge. Did not stick the landing.
Got to get them points.
So Samard currently in control of the field. Let's see how this is going to cycle out. Josh Lambert had just come out of the pits in the 103. Still on the lead lap. Rick Raven is only 8 laps into his stint.
I think Karen will pit here. If I had to guess.
I'm still trying to find Sage. There he is. He's going to have to. He's already 21 laps in. So, he's going to kind of have to pit here. But Raven's only 8 laps in. He's probably... Let's see how this is going to play out. Yeah, Raven's going to stay out. Will Kirk is going to stay out. Ronnie Osmer just pitted, so that's going to put him... that's going to move him up into 4th. As Lambert had just finished pitting. So Lambert, Raven, Kirk, Osmer, and everybody else taking it down pit side. There's the battle off, and
Battle out of pit road, though.
Keith Mayato winning the battle. Hell of a stop for Keith.
By paper width, probably.
Well, let's go back and take a look at that one. Oops, wrong camera. Let's watch this battle here. Watch that green set of cones, folks. That's what we're going off of. Yeah. It was that close. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that less than the width of the upright on the front wing.
Definitely close.
So we know everybody's going to have to bring it down. Excuse me. Everybody's going to have to bring it down one more time.
Yep, absolutely.
Question is, when do you do it?
Yeah, that's gonna be the question. I think it's gonna be a lot of it's gonna come to whenever if a caution comes out, where everyone is at in terms of the pit strategy when it comes out. Yeah, Ronnie, who just pitted, he'll be fine, and maybe Rick and Josh are the only guys you really need to think about when to actually pit. Everyone else will pit whenever they get in the window, I'm sure, but those guys, they're gonna pit probably the next caution that comes out here, so they got a lot to think about. Coming here with the next 40 to go.
No. There is no next caution. There is no next caution.
Caution are we on, actually?
We're staying green. We're already on caution 8.
Oh, we got 4 to give.
No. No. Hard no. And again, this is the biggest reason why I hate this track. It takes 2 minutes to pace around this place.
Yeah, she takes a nice long time, doesn't she?
And the thing is, they're not going that slowly.
No, it's 75.
Well, yeah. So, really?
Restart's going to be interesting to see how Lambert leads the field. He hasn't led the field tonight to the green. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ravon, Osmer, and Mayato do. Kirk as well, how they react to the start here.
Very much so. You know, look for Raven to be probably a little bit gun shy. Only because he just saw what happened to his teammate. So, expect Raven to really wait until he hears Lambert pull the trigger. As they're working their way into the tunnel turn. So Lambert, Raven, Kirk, Osmer, Mayato, Samard, Vickery, Brinson, Champion, and Dudley, your top 10. As we are now officially 2/3 of the way through this event. Going to be taking the green with 40 to go. And I don't think we've seen a restart out of Lambert yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how he controls the button.
Goes right away, it looks like.
Absolutely. As Kirk and Osmer go side by side.
Move on to the inside here, and it looks like Kirk's going to try to make it 3 wide.
Kirk threading the needle there going into 1.
Osmer bone drafted Kirk. Wow, look at this.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's about 4 people on the planet in an open wheel car that when I know they're behind me and I see that little green 0x contact come up, I don't get nervous, and Ronnie's one of maybe 4 people. Side drafting happening. Yeah, this is not going to end anything but poorly if they keep that stuff up.
Ravon about shot Lambert's nose off there going into 1 there. That was pretty close. As well, Kirk's going to make a good run here. Going to get the draft off of Ravon here, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can make a move in a 3 there as he pushes up the hill. Ooh, that was close.
Killed all his momentum. And we know Ronnie's already burned his fast repair. As he's pushing Lambert right now.
That's going to just take all the air off of Kirk, and that's going to slide him back into 4th, maybe 5th.
And Mayato's going to get a run on him going into the tri-oval. They almost bang wheels. No contact, but it was you can't get much closer than that. Now remember, folks, we have not seen the money stop yet.
They're talking in the race chat that there was contact on their screens there, so.
Okay, so netcode on my end. And here we go with the Indy Snake down the short chute at Pocono. Anybody want to?
Curious to see what Lambert runs here.
I was gonna say, anybody want to break the news to Rick that if Lambert stays in front of Osmer, Osmer can push Lambert by just by bump drafting? And that's not gonna work.
Yeah, Rayvon's hungry for his first Top Fuel IndyCar win. I mean, he's got the win in the Pro Mazdas, but he wants that IndyCar win pretty badly. So it's kind of shown right now. He's got 35 laps to hang on here, but it's going to be interesting to see how the pit strategy works, if you can get into pit road quickly, all that stuff.
Well, he's still pissed off about the one that got taken away from him at Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's still human there, as Osmer keeps looking there on the inside here.
He's just trying to get that front wing into clean air as he pushes up the track, complete arrow push coming through 3. Osmer lost a ton of momentum there. And Osmer hits the wall.
Wow. Looked like he grazed it, but that may have hurt him.
Well, if you look on the right side, you'll see the damage.
That's non-repairable damage either, so... And he'd already burned his fast repair, so that's an unfortunate there for Ronnie.
Yeah. You can see it there on the upright. Right on the,
Yep. I see it. Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage. Don't think it'll hurt him that bad, but he's got some.
It's not a ton. It probably scared the hell out of him more than anything. As it cost him momentum, and it cost him the draft.
Listening to Rick here, I'm just on his rear chase. He's keeping it in 5th. That's burning more fuel from him, so he's gonna spend a little bit more time in the box when he pits here. So that could be a disadvantage to him. When they end up coming in for that money stop here.
Well, the problem that he's got is he has no help. So he kind of has to keep it in 5th.
His help is coming, though. Sage is up to 7th place now, so.
Yeah, but Sage has a lot of cars to get by. And they've already burned at least half the goodie off these tires. As Lambert and Mayato go side by side. Mayato ducks back in line and going to try to get a run on him down the front stretch. And Keith, a lot of arrow push, has to let off a ton. That's going to kill his momentum.
Good battle also going on for 5th position here, too.
You see Samard to the inside of Champion.
Ooh, a lot of push there. Gonna just allow Sage to go right on by.
Pretty much. So, Champion has 5th. Karam's right behind him. Meanwhile, Rayvon is just flat checked out. Over a second to the good right now. And he's got a car in front of him that he can use to draft on a little bit.
Yeah, they battled too hard for a second there, Mayato and Lambert there, and it looks like that just held him up quite a bit. So Rayvon's got this nice little help drafting partner. Hopefully he's saving fuel for himself there so he can spend less time, because I don't think they'll be waiting on the tires. I don't think. Actually, they might be waiting on the tires on the stop here.
Oh, you're still looking at a complete fuel stop. So we are 30 to go. Mayato is starting to reel in Raven, too.
Yeah, I don't think that lap traffic really helped Rayvon there. I mean, it looked like that kind of hurt him. I don't know if he's trying to save the fuel off of him, but it looks like Mayato's closing. He's closing pretty quickly here.
Well, he's already gotten it down to half a second. So just in 2 laps, he's gained that half a second. And whoever that is just banged the wall. So that's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out.
Doug has got quite a bit of front wing damage there, so that's going to affect all these guys that are trying to lap him here.
And,
Lambert going to go to the inside of Osborne for 3rd.
well, Osmer just got by Lambert coming down the front stretch. So they're side by side through the tunnel turn. This has bad intentions written all over it.
Osborne's drifting. Oh, that was going to be close.
Yep, discretion, the better part of valor. Osmer lifted rather than took them both out of the race. Meanwhile, Raven's starting to gap Mayato again. He's got it up to 3/4 of a second now.
Yeah, I wonder how much if Mayato's saving or not, because it seems like he's falling back at a rate that just kind of tells me that he's saving fuel.
It's a possibility. You know, Keith has won races in the past on fuel mileage.
I mean, if you notice, I mean, Mayato hasn't tried to draft Ravon at all this entire run, which shows that he's not really looking for the pace here. So he's either trying to save the tires, he's trying to save the fuel, or something here compared to Ravon. Plus, you've got to realize Ravon, you know, had 8 laps already on his tires when we had a caution there.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the speed, and Mayato's actually got Raven by about 3 miles an hour. So he's starting to reel him in a little bit.
Sage and Samard about tangled coming out of 1 there. So it looked like Sage just kind of drifted up with the aero push off of Ronnie. Sage is going to drop back to 6th, then try it again.
With the way this track is set up, it's all about timing your runs. And Mayato is really starting to reel in Raven right now.
Yeah, now you notice how Mayato's starting to follow now. So now he's starting to put the pressure on. So that tells me that he was trying to save the tires, and now he's kind of realizing now it's time to push.
And Jake Bryant, the first one to blink, taking it down pit side. 25 to go. You can make it from here, folks.
Over the race chatter, it sounds like Will Kirk is going to be pitting this time, so he's going to fall from 10th. So now you're going to start seeing people drop like flies here.
We are about to see the money stop. Vickery goes pit side. Kirk goes pit side.
Like Mayato's going to get a nice draft off of Brian here, so that kind of worked out in Mayato's favor here. Looks like Ravon's pitting here.
That's going to hand the lead of the race over to the Canadian destroyer, Keith Mayato. And it looks like he's just going to be drafting Jake Bryant for a while.
That's not a bad idea either, because he's got the fresh tires that Brian has, so he's able to, you know, probably keep pace with these guys. It looks like Mayato might be passing here. Look at this.
And that's Will Kirk just coming out of the pits there. That's how quickly that can happen.
Mayato didn't want to see.
Osmer goes pit side. over a second to the good for my auto right now. 22 laps to go.
And now my auto's probably thinking, are these guys actually holding me up?
Apart from column A, apart from column B. Because we do know aero push is real in this car.
I mean, these two in front of him are battling for position. Just something that he also has to think of as, oh, look out! Karen spins it in the pits.
Well, that kind of worked out. Let's take a look at what happened there. Oh, he was trying to go pit side anyways. Backs it into the wall. Hopefully he hasn't burned his fast repair.
That kind of looks like that's damage that can be just fixed without the fast repair. Oh, he's crabbing a little bit. Never mind. So
yeah, no, he's got suspension damage on the right rear.
he fixed that damage though with the fast repair. That probably cost him about 3 seconds at the most though. So that didn't hurt him that bad, but it looked like just too much rear brake in the car.
It's a possibility. My auto continuing to show the way finally gets past Brian. Oh no, I'm sorry. I had that wrong. That was that was Will Kirk I saw in front of Brian. So Brian and Kirk still slugging it out. That's your battle for 17th directly in front of your leader. Keith Mayato still 1.4 seconds to the good over Chris Samard. And Samard, go ahead.
I don't think Rayvon had a good pit stop because now he's behind Osmer there. So, and he's battling with Vickery. So it looks like that Rayvon lost quite a bit of time there in the pits, and it looks like he is now net second or third right now.
On pit road, 2-second difference between Osmer and Raven. Cone to cone, Osmer was 34.2, Raven was 36.3.
Well, now you're just got to look at these guys, Mayato, Samard, see where they're going to come out when they pit here compared to these guys, because Vickery was around 6th or 7th when they pitted.
We're about to find out. There goes Mayato, there goes Samard. Josh Lambert inherits the lead. Let's watch the pit stop for Samard. I'm sorry, let's watch Mayato's pit stop.
Pretty equal coming in, so this is going to be probably the race for the lead right here. Pretty equal for both of them. Now who's that coming behind?
Here comes Osmer.
Osmer.
There goes Osmer. Well, Lambert is your current leader. 28 laps on his stint. He's gonna need to pit sometime soon.
This has now become a nice big train here.
Right. So Lambert's leading. 7 seconds back is Robert Dudley in second. Carl Burke sits in third. You see him right there within striking distance of Burke.
Oh, Sage about got clipped and he did it. Wow, that was a big pucker moment.
Well, let's go back and take a look. Wow. Yeah, Mayato kind of just touched him.
Mayato didn't want to give. He didn't want to give it that spot that easily. They decided he could have him cleared and just didn't quite get there. Looks like Karam learned his lesson this time, though. He's going to go to the inside.
Watch for Mayato to cross him over down the front stretch. Plenty of room given. Side by side into turn number 1. Mayato's going to get the clear.
Lambert just hit the pits, but I think he was pretty slow coming in there.
He is not on pace. Lambert's out of fuel.
At the moment, it's Osmer is your leader.
No, Carl Burke is your leader.
Well, he's your net leader, per se.
He will be when this cycle's through. Carl Burke, your current leader, still has to pit. Colin Scott is 2 seconds back, still needs to pit. Johnny Antonucci right behind him. No, Johnny Antonucci is 5 seconds back, still needs to pit.
There's one thing Ronnie doesn't want to see. It's a caution.
You're not wrong. As we are 14 laps to go.
You have a 3-second gap here. I mean, that's a mile in a sense. So he will not want to see yellow appear anywhere on the screen. He wants to see clear, open racetrack.
Antonucci and Scott have both gone pit side. Osmer up into second. Karam up into third. Mayato up into fourth. Raven for fifth. And the battle continues between Karam and Mayato. And Carl Burke stays out again. He's going to run that car until it doesn't have any fuel left.
Like Colin Scott got penalized for something out there, so he might have to serve a penalty here in the next couple laps.
Speeding out as Burke peels off. 21 seconds to the good over Osmer. Burke goes pit side. There's Osmer coming into 3. 2.6 seconds to the good over Sage Karam. And Osmer inherits the lead right there. Karam up into second. And there you see him battling it out with Keith Mayato still. Ernie Williams just coming out of pit there in front of him. Doing his best to stay out of the way so he doesn't hold those guys up. 12 laps to go. Karam has cut Osmer's lead to 2.2 seconds. Mayato still right there. Scott Brinson right on the transmission tunnel of Rick Raven right now. In the draft. That's your battle for fourth, starting to really heat up.
Looks like Mayato may have scraped the wall coming out of one there.
You can see the damage on his car. Just ever so slightly, a little bit of paint missing on that right side upright. Karam has cut the lead to 2 flat.
Yeah, there's one thing Ronnie doesn't want to see. It's about a negative 1.1 because that's when the draft starts working for Sage, around a second. So if he can just stay above that second window, Ronnie can keep the lead. But once he gets within that window, you're going to have Sage coming up on him pretty quickly.
And we know there's no love lost between these two. It's ARCA versus IRL. And we've seen these two go at it before at Phoenix in the season finale. There was a problem in the dogleg racing incident, both cars taken out. Osmer back up to 2 seconds to the good.
This battle for fourth, as you're talking about, it's really heating up now. You got Scott and Ravon swapping places, and you got Vickery kind of looking in the background there, this battle, hoping that, you know, he might luck into a podium here if he, actually not, never mind.
Brinson to the inside. Raven has no opportunity to defend, goes back to the inside as they haul up into turn number 3. Side by side they go. Brinson able to keep it wound up on the high side. Drag race down the front straightaway. This is your battle for 4th. Scott Brinson in the green Fuzzies car. Rick Raven in the white and blue Gould's Charge 11. Raven, your defending champion, trying to make a move on Raven right now. Or sorry, Brinson, your defending champion, trying to make a move on Raven right now.
There comes Jake. Jake all of a sudden is coming to this.
And this is probably not what Rick Raven wanted to see, as Jake Champion is the guy that cost him his first win in the league.
The gap keeps coming down between Osmer and Karam there, but eventually it's going to turn into an issue how much time is going to be left.
7 to go currently. 1.7 seconds to the good for Karam. And Karam still has to worry about my auto right there in his slipstream. And Raven's still doing the Indy Snake down the front straightaway. Scott Brinson unfazed.
Not just 2 cars participating in it, it's about 5 cars participating in it. Yeah, I mean, that gap keeps coming down. Sage might get there if he can just, it might be the final lap, but that's about the only time I can think he can get there. He's about 1.4, 1.3 now, though.
1.3.
Well, it keeps coming.
Getting to him is one thing. Getting by him cleanly is another.
Plus, if we do have a caution now, it'll end the race, so that's something else to think about.
So you're going to be a good teammate, go out there and watch your car again? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I might go out there right when the checker flag comes out and might do the good old ram.
You're going to need to be in the car before the white flag.
You know what? He earned a night off from getting rammed under his burnout. So.
Well, it's his last night, so no.
True.
He hasn't.
I'm sure someone will do it to him. Oh, Karen hit the wall hard.
That's a lot of damage on the right side of that car, and my auto flashes by.
He pancaked that thing. He didn't just hit it. He pancaked it, and he's crawling.
Yes, he is.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's gonna.
He's got suspension damage, and caution's out. Osmer wins.
Oh, fluck there from Karam. He was going to get there too, I think.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Sage. Here he is coming into turn number 3. Just barely caught the apron. The car pushed up. Bang, into the safer barrier he goes. And you can see that car is 3-wheeling as he goes down the front straightaway. Completely tore the right rear suspension arm off the car. And just no grip going into 1.
Impressive that he was able to just get halfway straight that entire time. It's impressive.
Very much so. But heartbreaker for Sage, hoping to have a good showing in his home race. Final race in the series. Ronnie Osmer has the popsicle sticks are out. All Osmer's got to do is not Mark Martin it, and he'll be fine.
Good for that kid. He's earned it tonight, so he's had his fair share of dramas tonight. So good for him. He definitely earned this one.
Like I said, all he's got to do is...
Karen's still having issues.
Karen's still trying to get it back to the pits.
I think he's just trying to keep his ninth spot. He doesn't want to lose any more positions.
Probably right.
So if I'm not mistaken, if you have a required damage, I think you have to be in the pits by a certain time, if I remember right. I might be wrong.
They give you 3 laps. Which means as soon as he crosses the finish line, if he does cross the finish line under checker, he has to immediately stop the car and get out. But white flag is out. And I can't find the little bastard. Where is he? There he is. Hiding on me. In the proper team speak like he was supposed to be. So, all Osborne's got to do is, again, just keep it on the track. As they make their way out of the tunnel turn into turn number 3. It's pretty much academic at this point. In his final race for a while coming up here, for those of you who aren't aware,
tears in my eyes.
Ronnie Osmer is going to be leaving his sim rig behind for a while as he heads to college to get a motorsports marketing degree. And going to take the victory here in his final start with Top Fuel Racing. As we are going to reach out to the incoming college freshman. Ronnie, your final race with Top Fuel, you got to be pleased with this one. How are you feeling right now?
They're incredible. This is right next to the championship and Paskey's. Motion-wise, I'm holding it in somehow. It's crazy to do.
Well, you know, it was a masterful job to climb your way back through the field. You know, you timed the pit stops right, and you got it taken care of. Talk us through the money stop. What was going through your mind when you went down pit road?
Tyler was talking about how we were half a tank pretty much for making it to the end, and as soon as he said that, I saw Rick pit, and Rick was up front, and I was like, if I get this pit stop right, I can leapfrog him. And when I leapfrogged him, I was like, all right, I got a good chance of winning this, and I leapfrogged the others again and again. I couldn't believe how I got that done right.
Well, towards the end there, we saw that who's become your nemesis, Sage, was starting to reel you in a little bit. Did you know what happened when he pounded the wall?
That's what I figured. Like he pounded the wall because he just got back into my draft, going down the backstretch. So I was thinking he's probably gonna push it too hard, especially with the old tires and not being in the draft for a while. So that's what I was hoping for. I knew he was probably gonna try to catch me because he had fresher tires, but he was probably gonna do something wrong with the aero push.
Probably not the way you wanted it to end, but you got to be pleased with the result regardless. Probably going to make that drive to North Carolina a little bit more relaxing tomorrow, eh?
Oh yeah, it's gonna make it a lot more fun.
Anybody you want to thank, Ronnie?
I want to thank, of course, you, Tony, for broadcasting all these races, and Sam and Bill for broadcasting. Thank every one of my teammates on Phenomenal Evolution throughout the years. Uh, thank everyone in Top Fuel. Thank Scott for his league. And I didn't get to do this Monday, but thanks KP and Byron and the Paskey Sports Cardiac Truck Series. And of course, thanks to my mom and dad for letting me have iRacing, except for when I'm going to college. And also thank you to just the charities that support Ride to Give and PH Aware. And shout out to my college, Belmont Abbey.
Ronnie, congratulations on bringing home the win tonight. I can tell it's really an emotional night for you. We're going to let you get back down and celebrate with your team. And again, the broadcast booth is always open to you whenever you want to come play, sir.
All right.
So, real emotional Ronnie Osmer tonight, Nate.
Yeah, it's the sight you usually don't hear from Ronnie, but as he gets properly punted at the moment by Tyler Vickery doing his burnout. So good to know somebody had to keep going with the tradition there.
Absolutely, and I believe you've got Keith Mayato, a second place finisher, with you right now.
Well, Keith, it's Nate in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Done for.
Well, we saw you having a pretty good battle there with Sage. And it turns out that he hit the wall and turns out you got second place. But just talk us through that final pit stop and that battle to the end of the race there.
Yeah, at one point I didn't even realize Ronnie was there, and I thought I was battling for the lead. And I looked up the relative, and I'm like, holy shit, Ronnie, like 3 seconds up. So at that point, I figured out I didn't want to battle Sage anymore, and I was just gonna ride it out. Hopefully, we could run him down. And I was hoping Sage would run him down, and then I could take advantage of it. But that didn't happen. But finishing second is not so bad.
Well, you guys were closing on him, but it just turns out it was just a little bit too late in terms of time. You started the race sixth. Couple of cautions tonight. I think we had 9, correct? There. You
are
maybe.
correct.
So, I mean, a couple of cautions, but how did you think the race was overall tonight?
Once we got some green flag racing in, it was fun. It was tough in the pack, of course, trying to get out of someone's slipstream through the corner. But other than that, the setup was good. Racing was fun. It was aggressive as always, and that's usually what leads to the cautions. But the thing is, like, I'm not the guy to be super aggressive, but you have no choice. Because if you're not, you're gonna fall back so many spots, and you're never gonna have a chance to get back up there again. So, I guess it is what it is, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, would you like to thank anyone on your podium placing tonight, Keith?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my teammates at MCS, Chris Smart and Kevin Cornelius, and for yourself there, Tony and Nate, for doing a great job on the broadcast.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, and we'll let you get back down to celebrating your podium finish tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
So, Chris Samard, Keith Mayato coming home in second, and rounding out our podium, the Jersey Jet himself, Mr. Rick Raven. Rick, you kind of got to have mixed emotions about this podium tonight.
I don't like the Jets. I like the Giants, man. The Jersey Giants. Football, baby. Are you ready for some football? I'm ready for some football after this. I don't know. I'll tell you what, Tony. The Gould Charge really was hooked up today. I mean, I felt like we we probably had our best shot to break that cherry in the IndyCar series. So close, so close. But after the pit stops, I mean, I took a full load of fuel. I didn't calculate what it would take to get to the end, and so Ronnie beat me out of the pits, after the pit stops were done, and tried to run him down, and Sage got around me. Every time I caught traffic, it was in a bad spot. I was in the corner, and so it kept slowing me up, and so that allowed Sage and Keith to get away. So I was just hanging on the fourth, and I was just kind of settling in. But then Scott Brinson was all over my back end, and so I had to battle with him and finally tried to break the draft by snaking it down the straightaway a little bit. Finally got away from Scott, and unfortunately, my Rayvon Motorsports teammate, Sage Karam, Sage, I guess, had brushed the wall coming off one of the corners, and
tore the suspension
really,
off the car.
Yeah, I don't even know, but that took him out, and so I was able to move up to a podium. But man, I'll tell you, I am so glad Ronnie's going to college, man. I wish him the best. I've never seen anybody in my life wreck half the field so many times and come back to win. That guy's got a lucky horseshoe up his rear end, man. I'm telling you, he's a good driver. He's a professional, and he's good. He might even be great. Time will tell, but he's also got a hell of a lot of luck going too. But he did a great job tonight, and I want to congratulate him on the win. Boy, he's tough. I'll tell you, I'm glad to see him go. See you, Ronnie. Good riddance.
Wow. Okay. That escalated quickly.
I say that with love. You know what I mean.
So, you were talking earlier about the snake that you were doing down the straightaways. I don't think Nate and I were both talking about that earlier. I don't think either one of us has ever seen a more aggressive snake happen in any series either one of us has been in.
Well, I was just doing what I had to do to try to get a lead. I mean, these guys race aggressive, and like I said, you got to raise your game, man. If you don't raise your game, you're not going to have a shot to win. So, like I said, I had to do something a little different, and it was an aggressive snake, yeah, but I was trying to, pull out a little bit of a lead because, it wasn't a pack race. I think Scott Brinson did a great job with the setup tonight, so it wasn't a pack race, but they were still close together, and it's like, every other corner somebody's challenged you for the lead. I says, you know what, screw this. Let me see if I can get away. So, hey, I did what it took, just like, these other guys would do, something similar, that you do what it takes. You got to be aggressive, and so I did something a little bit different, a little more aggressive on the straightaway than normal, and you know what? It paid off. I got to lead a lot of laps tonight.
That you did, Rick. That you did. Moving on to next week's race. Something you're looking forward to or not?
Oh, I'm always looking forward to Top Fuel Racing. I'm always looking forward to the next race. I can't wait. When I go to bed at night, I close my eyes, I put my head on the pillow, and I'm dreaming about the next race. I love it here at Top Fuel Racing, and I love the guys that we're racing against. And I love Scott Brinson. He's a great guy, and I look forward to every single race. Now, which track are we going to next?
I was kind of hoping you knew.
Gateway.
All right.
Gateway.
All right.
Okay.
Gateway.
Under the lights.
Gateway is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a fun track. I don't think that's going to be a pack race either because you got to massage the car, at least in one of the corners. I think one of them's wide open, but the other one, you just kind of breathe it. And so that's going to make it a little bit challenging. It's going to be a good race. It's going to be a real good race, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, anybody else you want to thank tonight, Rick?
Nope, not really.
Fair enough.
I don't care about anybody.
Fair enough.
No. I want to thank Bo for broadcasting, obviously, and Scott for putting this thing together. It's always going to, every time you interview me, it's going to be the same people. Scott for putting this together, my teammates. I want to thank the Lord for giving me life. I want to thank my wife, my kids, the Goodyear blimp over my head. I want to thank everything.
Well, Rick, looking forward to seeing you next week at Gateway. Congratulations on the podium tonight.
Thank you, Tony. God bless you.
All right, so that's Rick, Raven rounding out our top three. We're gonna go to our defending series champion and chief league admin, Mr. Scotty Brinson. Scott, after the early melee that happened there, you kind of got to be pleased with the top five tonight after all the trouble that happened.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this is one of the most frustrating races I've had in a long time. Nate, sorry, man. I don't know what the hell happened between us. I guess we just got so close. Wes was telling me we got so close, and it looked like we net-coded into each other.
That's exactly what it looked like from up here, too, Scott. It's all in the stream, we all took a look at it from a couple different camera angles, and it looked like you two just had a meeting of the minds in the middle.
Yeah, and when we touched, it was like it just vacuumed me right over into him. And then I couldn't even get off of him when we were on the wall. It was like it wouldn't let me off of him. Finally, I just kind of worked the car a little bit where I was able to back up and go. You know what was weird about that? I didn't have any damage. And I could have sworn I had my reset unchecked. I know I did the first time I come in after it happened just to get it checked. They changed the front wing. The car was fine. And then on the second pit stop, I made sure to uncheck my reset again. I went into the pits. The damn game used my reset. So that was on lap 40 when it was a caution festival. And I basically ran the last 80 laps just having to protect the points championship with no money in the bank. You know what I mean?
Understandable. So the series moves to Gateway next week. Talk us through your thoughts on that one.
Well, it's probably going to be a lot more cautions against short track racing. It's going to be a night race. It's going to be hard to get some push in the car. So, but one has a way of separating the field a little bit, which I'm worried about. If it's too racy, guys will be trying to make bold moves down there. So I'm just going to have to get a good setup where we can have a good race and have a quality race. And the cautions. How many do we have tonight?
9.
All right. Well, we didn't hit double digits at least. It felt like a lot more than 9. I guess because the cautions are 8 minutes long.
You're not wrong. But hey,
hopefully we don't have another one next week.
But you kind of got to give a tip of the hat to Ronnie Osmer. His last race with Top Fuel Racing, at least for the foreseeable future, coming home with the victory. Any parting words to the inbound college freshman?
Oh yeah, I told him there in the room, man. Congratulations. It is kind of fitting to see him win that race. I know he races hard and he wants to win them all, but good send off for him. At least he knows he won his last race that he ever participated in here until he gets back from college. He's going to be gone for a little while, so it's going to be a while before we see him again. And he earned it, man. He's always a hard charger, and he drove back through the field. He rocketed on by me at one point when I was just trying to, I see the bigger picture, and I was just trying to take it easy for a little while. I got caught up in a hornet's nest there for a bit, and I was afraid to really move anywhere because people were just driving crazy.
Well,
but congratulations, Ronnie, and be safe at college, man, and have a good time and get your education and have a good time, if you know what I mean.
Well, Scott, if it's any indication of what this win meant to Ronnie, go ahead and listen to the interview we just did with him, and Nate can testify to this one. I don't think I've ever heard the young gunner more broke up than he was after winning this event tonight.
I don't know, man. Well, it's honestly, I'm at a loss for words at times with where Top Fuel Racing is, and the guys take it this serious, and it means this much to so many different people, and people like Sage Karen being involved on the pro level, and just the route we're all headed, and it's surreal at times. So pretty cool that Ronnie takes it that serious and that it feels that good to him, and I hope he enjoys it, man. And like I said, just be safe at college and get your education, man. Don't be partying the whole time.
Well, that's going to about do it for us here tonight. We're going to take a quick look at the final results. Ronnie Osmer coming home with his final Top Fuel victory in the foreseeable future as he's heading off to college over in North Carolina. So, at best, we're probably going to see him again around Christmas break. Keith Mayato coming home in second. Rick Raven hanging on for third. Scott coming home in fourth. Jake Champion for fifth. Josh Lambert rebounding for sixth. Tyler Vickery, strong finish for the young gunner there in seventh. Captain Will Kirk able to rebound for eighth. Sage Karam able to hold on for ninth with a wrecked vehicle. Robert Dudley, top 10 for Robert. Good finish for Robert. Happy to see that one happen. Nate, you got the rest of them?
Yeah, Chris Walker, he had connection issues at one point. He fought back to finish 11th. Carl Burke, we saw him lead a couple laps tonight on pit strategy, finished 12th. Johnny Antonucci, he came home 13th. Colin Scott, he came home 14th. Mark Walker, coming home 15th tonight. Ernie Ludwig came home 16th. Paul had some issues tonight. He finished 17th. Ernie Williams, the new guy in the league, he came home 18th, a respectable debut for him. Doug Kennedy came home 19th, and Jake Bryan came home 20th tonight. David Martinez in the 44 came home in 21st position. Chris Samard came home 22nd. Chris Voiles finished 23rd. Joe Morganti with some headset issues tonight. He came home 24th. Bob Riley came home in 25th. Kevin O'Brien finished 26th. Yours truly came home in the 27th position. Kevin Cornelius finished 28th. The Irish assassin, Sam Cooper Bennett, came home 29th.
Don't call
Michael-
me Irish.
No, he's the limey Brit that's just living in the Emerald Isle.
Michael Jeans, he came home 30th. Raul Alvarez came home 31st. Matt Burkhart came home 32nd. And Brad Turax, with the early exit, came home 33rd.
Well, that is going to about do it for us tonight. And Ronnie Osmer, again, coming home with the victory in his last Top Fuel race for the foreseeable future as he heads off to college. We are going to be, Sam, where are you guys tomorrow night?
The last Great Coliseum.
That's right. It's the remainder of Concrete Week. As you can join Sam and Scott tomorrow night for Somo as they take to Bristol in the Cup cars. Then we are off on Friday and then back on Saturday with Sam and I with the
Major League Esports.
K&N cars as they go to the last Great Coliseum at Bristol. And then Sunday we are where with the Summer Light Series, Scott?
Milwaukee Mile.
Kill me now. I mean, yeah, great.
I'll be in. I said, I'll be in the booth with you on Sunday, so don't worry about that.
Okay, so
we only got 2 more lights races and then it's over. So
fair enough. Again, if you like the action that you saw tonight and you want to get involved with it, go ahead and wait till after the live stream is over and drop a comment below with your iRacing screen name. We'll get it passed along to Scotty and the rest of league management. See if we can't get you added into some future action here in the Top Fuel Racing Series. For Nate Siefker, for Scott Brinson, for my broadcast partner, Sam Cooper Bennett, that is going to do it for us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you tomorrow night from Bristol.